Hi everybody, I'm JJ from tbkl, and today we'll be seeing Piper Sandler researcher Alex Potter interviewed by Tesla Daily Rob, and we'll see some of their main points. The interview is around 1 hour plus, so recommended you to see if you got the time, but if you don't, that's why I'm here, and this is just 6 minutes long. Bear with me. Let's go.
Gross margin now is just selling cars for a lot more than what it cost them to build.
Right.
And that's highlight the sum of all of those line items historically, going back every quarter to, as long as they've disclosed it, and then make a line chart. And that line chart was going up in absolute terms, not in like percentage of revenue terms,
Right.
but just going up, 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 up. And then eventually it more or less just flattened, and it stayed there. And they were getting ridiculous leverage, right? The revenue was growing, and your OPEX was doing basically nothing. So I do think that there's OPEX leverage potential for sure, but it's hard for me to...
Tesla's OPEX is really good. In terms of margin-wise, they can raise their price 24 hours according to the demand. So if the demand is really high, people waiting 2 years is not good also. So they'll just raise the price.
Specifically, all of this sort of intellectual heft and momentum being consolidated down into a pretty small number of SKUs, right? You don't have a ton of products,
really,
right?
Now.
And then you've got a couple energy things, and then you get massive amounts of demand concentrated on that one thing, which you can build at scale, and so that's good for gross margin, but it's also good for OPEX. The thing that Tesla really did is sort of redefine what is core for an automaker in the 21st century, right? And contrast that versus what incumbent automakers believed was core in the last century. And so you have this big inflection, lots of demand, limited supply, and there's a mismatch between the two. And the thing that ends up differentiating Tesla versus others partially is the brand. I think it is
So it's the core that differentiates Tesla from others manufacturer. So Tesla, they just built one product, Tesla Model 3 for normal cars, Model S for luxury car, and a Cybertruck for truck. But they just have one model in that specific area. But others manufacture have a lot. So they have too many things going on to focus on, and it's hard for them. And Tesla's course has been building towards only one product, but really good at it.
Superior product, and there's probably a dozen different reasons why we could talk about that.
Right.
But even still, the thing that will really separate one, sort of Tesla from the pack is the ability to produce. If you break these in upstream supply chain bottlenecks, 4680s, and you start making this stuff at scale, there's an ocean of demand,
Right.
And Tesla's really the only one with a straight face that can, like, in a high volume, proactive way, sell a product that's compelling at a price point that the market wants.
Tesla is the only one that can really produce, and they know what the consumer wants, and then they pump it up. They produce a lot. We've been hearing Cherry Board from GM and want to kill Tesla Model 3, but how much are they producing? 100,000 only per year. But after that, we heard that the 100,000 got problem. They have to do some recalls and shit. So it's just not as competitive as Tesla ability to produce.
That people aren't making massive sacrifices for. You could then take my market share assumption, almost double it by then, and you could take my software assumption and haircut that substantially, so I'm getting a lot less of my price target, my valuation from software, and get a lot closer to justifying buying Tesla today just on car sales. The software is really awesome.
Yes.
Like, come on, man. And we're not doing...
We just know that's not the case, and Tesla got insurance, you got their mega packs, but the price in terms of car producing alone is justified by the price today, and that's really crazy, guys.
Anything with insurance, there's all kinds of recurring revenue streams. Like the whole reason they're setting their company up this way is, you know, in order to monetize the fleet, be pushing out services that you can monetize in a high margin way that still makes sense for the consumer. Like it's a better ownership experience, cheaper insurance, car that drives itself, a grid that manages itself, and people are happy to pay at 95% gross margin to Tesla for that. And because of the way Tesla's setting itself up, they can monetize that 5, 10, 15 years from now. And institutions, when I come to them with that thesis, they say, sometimes. But then again, like...
It's like the best business model in history. It's like, here you go.
What do you think?
No, I'm good.
There's the door.
Yeah.
If I were to have the same conversation with those folks 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there would have been legitimate reasons to doubt the forecast then too.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
nobody's ever built an electric car company. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't be an idiot. Like, I'm not gonna. And then there's also times where the stock will inflect up, like it has recently.
Yeah.
And
People get excited.
well, actually, they get regretful. So they look at it and they're like, oh man, like I wish we would have had this conversation back, fill in the blank. And I've heard that basically on a quarterly, you know, every time it inflects up. And I don't know why a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I won't be having the same conversation. But for some reason, psychologically, people see the chart and they're like, missed it.
Tesla is the next Tesla. Yeah.
And Tesla's residual values are really, really good.
I could definitely sell my car for more than I bought it for
Yes,
right now. Like,
which
no
is
question.
nuts.
Yeah.
It is the most attractive sort of brand. But if you don't believe any of the software stuff, like you think it's smoke and mirrors, all you have to do is turn around and sell it back into this market. And that will be a growing contributor. Like you can map back. It's a function of how many cars they sold in 2018, 19, 2020, 2021. So that ends up being a bigger and bigger margin enhancing revenue stream on their P&L for...
So when you buy a Rolex, even if you have money, you have to wait 8 to 12 months for it. So this is not a Rolex, by the way. I'm more of a Seiko guy. So so if you bought a Rolex and then the Rolex, once the Rolex reach your hand, you can resell it higher value than what you purchased. So that is why a lot of people want Rolex, and Rolex won't, it's not to say won't, but hardly go down in value. But when car industry comes, the best you can do to a car is to break even. So when I buy my car for 35,000, for example, the best that I can do is sell back the car 25,000 USD or ringgit Malaysia. Tesla is not the case. So when you first bought Tesla, it's around 35,000, but now actually you can resell it for 40 over thousand.
For a part of the business that people historically thought, best case, they would run a break even. Like philosophically, they would say like service is like we just want a favorable user experience. And so the consumer isn't on the hook for paying anything. You just bring it back into service and they pay to get it
Replace
fixed.
the car or
whatever.
whatever, yeah.
Whatever the parts are or something. And that's all on Tesla. It's fine that if you have these warranty claims coming in, the way that Tesla will account for that is they'll put, it's a reserve, right, on their balance sheet. It's just sitting there. So Tesla, again, like take a line chart, just look at what their warranty as a percentage of revenue has been over the last, you know, however many quarters, and it's a downward trending slope, which is so cool. And the reason it's cool is because like it was super easy. That warranty expense doesn't lie. That's basically a quality indicator.
So this is one of the myths. Even in Malaysia, people are saying that Tesla got a lot of quality issues. But that is the case back in 2016 and 17. But it's been better and getting better. Now the warranty claim is around 1.8% to Tesla. That's really low.
In the end, more EVs, more new technology, more reliance on suppliers who you do not control, and more product introduction for technologies that you do not understand and don't have a workforce or a dealer base that's trained to repair, all else equal should result in higher warranty claims, higher warranty reserve, lower gross margin for these other companies that are competing against Tesla. And because Tesla's vertically integrated and they're not making so many
Bot.
of these product types or models, and they do understand the technology, their warranty claims are much lower.
Yeah.
And their gross margin is much higher. It's very hard to replicate.
So you think some bankruptcies coming?
I think that they should not survive. The S
It means bankrupt.
curve is going to happen. Just don't ask me to tell you which quarter. So I'm really, like, I'm waiting for that day. Like, it's going to be epic.
Alex has been stating that the S-curve is not even there yet. So we are like the starting point of the S-curve. What should we do? This is not a financial advice, but he surely advises you to buy. There you have it. A quick recap. The first, OPEX is amazing. CAPEX is amazing. Second, core value of Tesla is different. Third, ability to produce. Fourth, Tesla is the next Tesla, so why not, right? So fifth, resale value is there and people want the brand. And of course, lastly, the warranty is getting better of the quality, because the best service is no service. And lastly, please remember to peace, buy and HODL. This is JJ from tbkl. I'll see you in next video. Bye. Forgot, remember to like and subscribe for more future videos.